There are typically two types of billing methods in any type of property maintenance service business. One is what we would call a per visit method of billing. In this case, you're sending maybe one invoice per service to the customer, or you're sending them one invoice at the end of the month that contains a line item for every single visit that you had to the property that month. Another method of billing is what we would call contract billing. And that's where you take the entire value of all of the services that you'll do for a customer in a year, and you spread out the cost across 12 months and just bill them an equal amount every single month. I want to talk about that type of billing today. Service Autopilot handles both styles of billing, but a question that I get a lot is, how does it work when you do want to spread that cost across 12 months? So let's dive into the system here. I'm going to show you how to set up contract invoicing for a customer. So let's just take any one of our customers, for example. I'll select here Matt Elliott. And we're going to scroll down until we see this section that says Add a Contract. I'll click Add a Contract. And in this example, we'll use this option here to add a contract. So from here, I'm going to put in the details of this contract. So we'll name it. And we'll give it a starting and ending date. Really, these dates are just informational. These contracts will, by default, automatically renew. This is primarily for reporting purposes, putting those dates in. So now where we have to put in a line item, we're simply choosing what we want the invoice to look like when we send it to the customer. What do we want to be the description of what we're doing that has the price next to it? So my favorite method to put into this is month and year, both in brackets. It's important that they're brackets and not curly braces. Month, year, and then we'll just say agreement. You can put contract in there or maintenance agreement or whatever you want to call it. And we'll click the green plus sign to add it to our list. Now we'll scroll down to the section that says default service. Now typically what I recommend that people select here is not necessarily the service that they're going to be receiving as a part of this contract, but rather a generic name for all contract services. So we'll call this monthly maintenance agreement. In my demonstration account here, I've got one called that. You could create a service called contract services, contract income. There's a number of different things. But basically, this is also for reporting purposes as well. So this will just represent all of our contract services on revenue reports. So we'll scroll down further, and here is where we plug in the details of this contract as far as pricing goes. So let's say for this customer, we want to bill them $150 flat rate across 12 months. So we'll type in $150 and click autofill. And then we'll choose the day of the month that we want this invoice to generate. Just like the pay per visit invoices in Service Autopilot, we will also automatically generate your contract invoices for you as well. And this date tells the system when to do that for this specific customer. So let's say the 15th of the month. It's often a good idea to spread out some customers at the first of the month and some customers in the middle of the month, just to spread out your cash flow there. So you can also elect whether or not to bill for the month that just happened previously, or by checking this box, you will bill for the month that is about to happen, so 1 month in advance. We'll leave these other options blank, fill them out accordingly if they are required for your specific contract. Now, under this section that says services and packages, this is very important. It's probably the most important element of the contract. This is where we tell Service Autopilot what services and products are covered under this contract. Again, keep in mind that by default, Service Autopilot's going to try and automatically create invoices for all the services that you complete. That's Autopilot, right? And so this is telling the system to not do that in this specific case, and instead simply generate the contract invoice instead. So I'll select a couple of services here. I'll add a contract item, and we'll scroll down and we'll just choose some generic services here. This might be house cleaning for your business. It might be professional lawn care if you're in the lawn care and landscaping industry. It could be pest control, whatever your services are named. So you attach them here. You can also optionally choose to only include a certain number of visits in this contract. So for example, let's remove one of these services. We'll remove the professional lawn care service. Let's say that this contract was for a house cleaning company and the contracted amount only covered one clean per week. Anything that we do over that, if we get called out to the property for any reason to do another clean, we want to make sure we bill accordingly for that. So we'll plug in 52 into our visits. Now you can also choose to alert somebody in the company, preferably a scheduler or somebody that handles actually dispatching the teams to the properties. You can alert them when you begin to reach that number, that 52 number. So I'll choose my condition to be greater than or equal to, and we'll put 50 visits into that. That way, we get an alert when we're about to reach the maximum capacity of the contract and not right when we do. That way we can make sure to eliminate any of those extra visits if we need to. So we can type out our message that goes in the alert, and then we can also choose a specific role within the company that needs to receive this alert. So in this example, I'll choose scheduler and then click save. You can also choose to only use a certain number of budgeted hours in a contract. This is very typical in the snow and ice management world. So you can plug in a total number of man hours or labor hours that are covered under the contract, and anytime a job is scheduled that goes over that amount, you're going to bill accordingly for that job. And the alert button works the exact same way as it does with visits. Lastly, if you have elected to limit the number of visits or budgeted hours for this contract, you can choose how you want to invoice the overages. So by default, you will not invoice any overages. But we can choose to bill if we go over the number of visits or the quantity simply, or if we're working with hours, we can choose to bill if we go over the number of budgeted hours. I'll set this back to never and click save. Perfect. Now Matt's basic contract is created. Like I said before, Service Autopilot will automatically generate this contract invoice every single month on the date that you selected. And any services that we were to add to Matt's account, as long as they were chosen underneath the contract, they will not be billed separately unless it is over a certain amount that you have budgeted for the contract. So I hope this helps. Make sure to watch part 2 of this series where we talk about why this is important, because we're going to look at some reports behind this as well and talk about why you might want to use this type of functionality and perhaps even change the way that you bill some of your clients. My name's Chris. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel for great content like this and more. Thanks.